Hey guys, it's Core Ross and Rainbow Six News. So today I've got a tutorial on how to customize the HUD in Rainbow Six Siege's new season, which of course is high caliber, and also how to get the tiny new compass as well. So there's actually a bunch of different varieties here. So on screen now is the HUD pretty much as default when you get into the game. This is what you're going to see, but you can customize it. So for instance, this is my customized version with a lot of the stuff switched off and some of the interaction menu stuff actually put down in opacity, but you can go a lot further. So for instance, we can go down to a small compass, which is tiny, about the same size as the old one, and we can go even further, of course, and switch it off as well for a much more minimal HUD. So we'll go through the different settings here that we can play around with and what they do. So first of all, when I got early access to the new season and was playing it before the reveal, I was like, oh, this HUD is not going to go down well at all. And I gave immediate feedback. I think a lot of content creators have done the same thing, wrote out our suggestions, and they seem to have run with a lot of them, resulting in a very good selection of options. And I think we're going to see more evolution of this HUD in the future. But now that this HUD is no longer based on Flash like the last one, this one will run better and it's going to be able to be customized further in the future too. They've already announced a few other features that will be coming, but let's go through the actual features we have in this one and how you can modify the new HUD to your heart's content when you boot up the new season on November 30th. So in the options menu, you're going to find a brand new tab dedicated to the HUD where you can of course customize the HUD to your heart's content. And let's go through the different options. So we've got a whole bunch just for the compass itself. And of course we can switch it off or on. We can go for simplified or advanced. We can have our current location and text above the compass. We can have generic pings, which is the yellow pings from teammates. We can have contextual pings, which is gadgets and stuff. So for instance, if we were to ping this gadget, we can see in the compass that it's in the white, which means it's on our level. But if we jump downstairs, it'll move to the black above so that we know it's above us, and it would go down onto the back below if it was below us, which is a very handy way of being able to know where something is, especially if, say, a teammate pings a cap can and it's on a different level from you, you know you're safe from it, from that one that's been pinged anyway. Then we've also got opponent pings, so if someone's getting red pinged, it'll also show up in the compass and let you know where they are without actually having to look. Then we've got objective markers, so of course objectives, hostages, bombs and stuff. We've got the elimination marker, lets you know where someone's just been killed, so a friendly. So if they've been killed above you, on the same level or below you, you will know. Then you've got the ping location helper, so if you actually ping someplace, it will show the name of the ping that you've actually put down, which to me is awesome because I never remember any room name whatsoever. So it's actually really cool to be able to do that. And then we have our loadout, which I assume most people are going to have on because it's good to know which weapons you have and how much bullets are in what. So this I think will be on for most people, but you can switch it off. But I do think you're going to switch off potentially the inputs here if you've been playing Sage for a long time and you already know them by memory. You just probably don't need them sitting next to it, which actually look like this. So for a controller, for instance, this is how they look. But if we switch over to the mouse and keyboard inputs on the PC, you can see that's how they would normally look. And I think, yeah, it's quite easy to switch them off. You don't really need them. So that's an easy one to get rid of. Then we have the player stats. Now, this is one I'd actually love to see one more option in here. So you can go for fully on, which is number of health and a health bar, or you can go numbers only. Honestly, I would love to have a bar, but you can switch it off entirely if you want to. So I would love another option here just to keep the bar, but you can go for just numbers if you want to, which is probably what I'm going to do with the current settings. You've also got status effects, which I think you're going to want to keep on. So that's like if you're EMP'd or you're Legion Mined, probably worth it having that on. And then you've got your stance indicator, which will come on if you're crouched or prone or repelling, just to remind you what you're doing. You don't need to have that on, and potentially that could be another one you can switch off, but that shows up next to your health bar. Then you've got your down but not out timer, which is definitely useful to have on your screen, but you might not really need to know how long it's going to take till you actually bleed out. So up to you if you actually want to keep that. It's not a necessity. Then you get critical warnings. This is definitely worth keeping on because this is like when you get spotted by a camera and it lets you know. It is very good to know that you've been spotted and there's an observation device around. So I would keep that on. Then you've got your other stuff here, your reminders. So you got your action reminders. This is when you can vault, place gadgets and stuff. I do like having these on, but they're now icons in the screen that show you stuff. Now, what you definitely can do here is, for instance, if you still want to keep it on for, say, having a vault button like this, then, you know, definitely worth it. But you might not need to know the button. So for me, I like having it on, but you could definitely switch off the action reminders so you just have the icon itself with no actual button below it, which does look quite clean, I've got to say. And then below that, you've got the diffuser reminder. This just lets you know that you can drop the diffuser, and probably worth keeping it on most of the time. Then we got the action reminder opticity. This is an awesome addition that they put in the last week of test server. So to me, having this down at 40 is the best, because it just means I can see it, but it's not getting in my way anymore. So I love that. Then you get your reload reminder that lets you know when you're running out of bullets. Up to you if you want to keep that on. And then general reminders, I have switched that off. That is just the stuff next to your compass on the left, which for me is the cams and the pinging here. And that to me is definitely worth switching off. You don't really need that, but up to you again if you want to keep that on. Then you've got your reticle. So of course you can customize the color of your reticle and the accessibility, but this is where we can customize the parts that actually show up. So first of all, crosshairs, I like having them on, so I'm going to keep them on. Now the actual white dot in the center of the screen, I've switched that off for the first person perspective with the operator reticle here. But for observation tools, if I'm in the cams, I want it on to mean that I can make accurate pings. And then we've got the grenade indicator, definitely want that on. Threat indicator, definitely want that on. That's when bullets are whizzing by your head and you get little indications of which direction it is. You've got the hit indicator, definitely keeping that on. That's useful for like shooting a drone and knowing that I've hit it, or a camera, stuff like that. We've got the kill confirmation, which you don't see much, so not a big deal. And then going down here into environment, we have all the different stuff for things like gadgets. So device area of effect, say this new girl with her mines, I throw the mine out, it shows an area of effect that you can switch off if you don't need to know it. And then we start to see a repeat of the stuff we've seen in the compass. So this is now all the stuff we've seen in the compass part that shows up on the compass, but on your actual screen now. So you can have these on or off. So of course pings and stuff like that, which I imagine you want to keep on. Opponent pings as well as the red pings. You've got the rim lighting for opponents. Probably want to keep that on for visibility, but up to you if you don't like it. Then you got your opponent usernames, which you don't see, so not a big deal. I think that might be for like MVP screens or stuff like that. But you got your teammate outlines, your teammate icons, your teammate usernames, and for me, I keep all that on, but you can definitely clean it up if you want to. And then you've got your match information. So this is the header at the top, basically the score and all that and the operators, and you can switch it off entirely, or of course you can keep it on. But up to you what you want to put in here, and it's all pretty simple. You got a reinforcement pool, you got your diffuser timer, you got your match timer, your round number, your match updates, your bans, your scored updates, your destroyed drones, which is a new bit of HUD element there, just to let you know how many attacker drones are left. And you've got your objective tracker, lets you know which objectives you have currently been able to discover. And then you've got your versus update, which is what comes in the middle of the screen saying like 2v1, 3v1 or whatever. And then below that, we've got our other. Now, this to me is actually the one most people are going to go to first. Gameplay warnings. This used to be called tips in the previous one, which shows up with a little annoying little thing saying, when you scan it says, oh, no opponents detected. Yeah, I know. So I like switching off immediately because that's the one that actually annoys me. But good for new players, useless for me. So that is the first one I go down to. It's a pity it's at the freaking bottom, but get down there, we find it. And then also when we're viewing other players actually spectating, we can switch off their operator cards because they're massive on screen. And I think the reason they're massive is because they're trying to sell them in in future seasons. But you can switch that off. They're going to add an additional button in here in the future, which will let you switch off the operator card, but keep the information underneath it, like what gadgets and stuff they have on. So up to you if you want to have that. And you've also got the operation panel, and you've got the voice chat as well. So just let you know if people are talking or not. And that is it. It's a lot of settings. It really is. It's a hell of a lot of settings. There is one thing to be noted, however, and it's an issue I'd love to see get fixed. Now that we have a massive amount of HUD options, and that is I want to be able to save my HUD and not have to go back in and redo it again, because if I was to say go to cinematic, you know, just to get a nice screenshot. But then I want to go back to my custom. Well, everything is now reset. So I want to be able to save my HUD, maybe even a couple of different HUD options. Maybe I want to have a ranked one and a casual one and one for, you know, recording gameplay clips or something. So being able to customize the HUD and save it for the future so I can come back to it without having to redo all the settings again would be really freaking nice. But definitely the HUD is far improved now, and they've made a lot of improvements over the last 3 weeks. But I think we'll still see a lot of iteration in the future as well.